Can you please tell us a bit about yourself?
My name is Sara Sanders Gardner, and I am the director of Neurodiversity Navigators at Bellevue College. I actually started this program, designed and developed it in 2011 after a pilot study of the program, which was funded by the college's foundation. And my interest in autism started when my child was diagnosed with autism when they were 11 years old. And I started studying their autism. It began to dawn on me that this is what had been going on with me for my entire life. So I was in therapy at the time, and I went to my therapist and I said, I'm pretty sure that I have autism. And the next week I went to see my therapist again, and my therapist said, you know what? You do have autism. Let's run some tests. So we ran some tests, and sure enough, I did have autism.
Can you please tell us more about Bellevue College?
And Bellevue College, for those of you who don't know, is the largest community college in Washington State. And as a community college, we also offer four-year degrees. We have 14 or 16 four-year degrees at this point. Some of our most well-known being our nursing program, our computer science program. But of course, the backbone of the community college is our associate degrees and our transfer associate degrees. The surrounding community is kind of like a suburb of Seattle, so a suburban area, many different little towns, or they're not really little, but towns. So let me tell you a little bit more about our program. Our conceptual framework is social justice and intersectionality. We take a strengths-based approach to our students, and it's very important to us that we are supporting them with identity development for all their different identities, and also including their disability and neurodiversity identity. We do that with several different tools. We use collaborative problem solving. We incorporate universal design in everything that we do, and we also use positive psychology. And we use this framework because, so for example, universal design, as you likely know, is an educational best practice that results in motivated, goal-directed, knowledgeable learners for all kinds of learners. And we have found that if we incorporate this not only in our classes, but in our interactions with students, we are allowing them to show up as their best selves, because we are allowing them to communicate in a way that works for them, allowing them to learn in a way that works for them. We also use a communication tool called collaborative problem solving, which brings the student into the process of solving problems rather than us just solving the problem for them. And this process comes from Massachusetts General Department of Psychiatry through a program called Think Kids. And it's research-based to increase cognitive flexibility, improve frustration tolerance, and build problem-solving skills across settings. And if you know about autism, it's often transferring skills across settings that is difficult, and collaborative problem solving really helps with this. And then we incorporate positive psychology into everything, because this is research-based to decrease symptoms of depression and improve mood across populations. So that's our framework of our program. The reason we include social justice is that we are not trying to fix our students and make them fit into some imagined social or cultural norm. We are trying to help them use their strengths to accomplish the things that they can do.
Please tell us more about the students in Neurodiversity Navigator.
So our program, as I think I said before, we started with 11 or 18 students in 2011, and we have grown to 150 students in our core services. I'll talk about that in a minute, and a little over 300 or so that come to us for our tiered services. Because we are a community college, we have a fair number of students who live nearby and come to the campus by bus or car. And then we do have maybe 10% or so that live on campus in our residence hall. We have some international students who come from other countries for our program and for the college's wonderful international student program. To
What does the Neurodiversity Navigators application process entail?
qualify for the program, there's just a couple of things that students need to do. The most important being they have to want to be part of the program. It's very important that this is student-led and not merely parent-led. So the student has to want to be in college and they have to want to be part of a support program where they are learning about themselves, learning about their strengths, and participating in an educational and support program. So they do apply to the college first. We are an open access institution, which means you only have to be 18 or in a high school program or have graduated from high school or have a GED or something to be admitted. So it's easy to get admitted to the college. We do not require documentation of diagnosis. You just need to identify as neurodivergent or autistic. To get into the program, then the student needs to meet with us and talk about why they want to be in the program or write about why they want to be in the program. However, they want to communicate that to us. We have some questions that we ask them. And this is merely to determine that it is the student who wants to be there and their motivations for being in college and in the program. They also need to be able to comprehend English on a pre-college level, but above a sixth grade reading level. And that's so that they can access the educational part of our program. So I mentioned the educational part of our program. Our program consists mainly of two components that affect the students directly. One is a series of courses that they take alongside their chosen program of study. So as I mentioned earlier, the college has many, many different degrees and certificates that students can get. They can come for a bachelor's degree. We have 14, 16 bachelor's degrees that they can go for in IT, computer science, nursing, et cetera, many, many different degrees. They can come for an associate's degree or an associate's transfer degree. They can also come for certificates. We have students who come after they've gotten bachelor's or master's degree, they come back to get a certificate to build their job skills. So they take a series of classes with us that are designed to support their identity development, but also support their academic and career skills so that they can be successful in using their strengths in their academics and then eventually in their career. And these focus on 4 areas. They focus on executive functioning, self-regulation, self-advocacy, and social interaction, but not social skills, really focusing on how do they like to socially interact, what are their preferences, what works well for them, how can they use these or leverage these social interaction preferences and strengths, and what barriers do they experience to social interaction, what kinds of social interaction will they need to use in their future career, and how can they manage those barriers if those are coming up in their future career. The other part of the program is peer mentoring. We hire peer mentors from nearby universities, and these are usually juniors or seniors or recent graduates who are studying to be psychologists, counselors, social workers, occupational therapists, speech language pathologists, other related. We have a nursing student right now. We've had a dental student. So people who are going to be working with neurodivergent people in their careers, we hire them to be peer mentors, and then we train them in how to communicate with our students, how to support our students in a way that provides autonomy for our students. So the student is making the choice, the peer mentor is not making the choice for them. And then the peer mentor provides support in accessing other parts of the college. What we have very carefully tried not to do is build a college within the program. We want our students to understand that they can access the rest of the college with support if needed, so that when they go to another college or to a career, they understand that they can ask for help, self-advocacy, in accessing anything that they need to. They don't need a special small place to go to. They have the power, the strength, the ability to access anywhere they need to go. The peer mentors work with an agenda with them and go through, how are your classes going? How are you doing? What are some successes you've experienced this week? What did you do to contribute to those successes? So help them connect their actions to their successes. And then just the regular, what's going on this week in the life of a college student. So like right now, it's registration time. So for the past maybe month, the peer mentors have been talking to them about what classes do you want to take next quarter? Let's take a look at the classes. Do you need to see an advisor? Let's get you connected to an advisor, things like that. So they go through those things. They will help them connect to counseling. They will help them connect to all the myriad social activities on campus. Join a club, start a club. We do have a once a quarter social event at the Neurodiversity Center. And we do have drop-in peer mentoring where they can come. They can come for body doubling to just get some work done if they want to.
Can you please discuss your training and outreach efforts with other departments at Bellevue?
The other thing that we do is we do provide training for faculty and staff across campus. I'll be doing a training for our public safety. At the end of the year, I'll be doing a training for nursing staff nursing students next week, actually. So lots of training across campus, training for faculty, of course. And then we have a once a quarter parent meeting so the parents can network with each other, and we teach them about how to be the parent of an adult who's maybe living with you or still having a relationship with you. At those meetings, we talk about interdependence and collaborative problem solving and some other things, and how to let your student do things for themselves.
Can you please describe how your support team is structured?
We have a pretty small team. We have 3 full-time people, including myself, and we have 15 peer mentors. All of our full-time staff are on the autism spectrum, and about 85% of our peer mentors identify as neurodivergent. Our students meet with the peer mentors once a week for 45 minutes. In their first year, they meet individually. In their second year, they meet in group meetings with 2 peer mentors and 3, 4, or 5 students. We support our students in connecting with disability resources. We are not part of the Disability Resource Center. We are our own entity, and we fall under the Career Center, which is under the RISE Learning Institute, which is under Academic Affairs. We certainly help our students connect with tutoring, the Academic Success Center, the Writing Lab, the Reading Lab, all the things that any college has. We also have those and help our students connect with those. Oh, and one last thing. There is no charge for our program services other than tuition for the classes that our students take. And the classes in our program usually will count as electives towards a student's degree.
Are there a few student success stories you would like to share?
So I do want to tell you about a few students and maybe some things that these students had in common. When I think about student successes, a few students come to mind, and they're very, very different students. But they did all have one thing in common, and that was that they were very laser focused on what they wanted their future to be like. And so one student that comes to mind is a student who I met through the college's adult basic education program. And that is for students who are not ready for college level courses. And so and many different students join the adult basic education for many different reasons. Some are English language learners. Some are students who just didn't pick up all the skills that they needed in high school. And so I met this student in the adult basic education program because He was having difficulty managing his emotions when things weren't working quite right. So the program called me down to consult. And when I met with a student, all he would say to me was, I want to be a digital artist. I want to be a digital artist. I want to design like Disney. And that's all he would say. And I said, okay, well, this is what you have to do. And I laid out for him what he needed to do. And so he finished with the adult basic education program, and his mother used to sit outside the classroom in case he had problems. And so I also worked with her and said, you need to start moving further away and further away so he does not depend on you. He eventually got out of adult basic education, moved into college level classes and into our program. And he would meet with his peer mentor. He would do what his peer mentor said to do. His mother would meet with me. She would do what I say to do. She came to our meetings. She kept backing up. She eventually got a job at the college. So she was still on campus. She was working at the college. He would come to me and he would say, I want to be a digital artist. I want to be a digital artist. Yes, Miss Sarah, I will do what you tell me to do. And he got a hold of his emotions. And you could tell he still had strong emotions, but he got a hold of them. And he kept working and he kept working. And he graduated. In fact, his mother and he graduated from Bellevue College at the same time, which was just so lovely to see them both in their graduation regalia. Then he went to what is known as the Harvard of Video Game Schools, DigiPen Institute of Technology, which my own child also graduated from. And he has since graduated from that school, which is just an amazing feat because it is a very difficult school. And I am so, so proud of him. But he was laser focused on what he wanted to do. So that's one student. And then another student is a young man who was an older student who had been to 5 different colleges before he came to us. And he was just defeated. And he would come to my office every week. Now, I will say most students don't come to my office every week. They just follow the program and they just do that. But he would come to my office every week and say, I don't know if I'm going to make it. I don't know if I'm going to make it. And so the one thing I will say is students that do well seek out help when they need it. And both of these students did that. They would seek out help when they needed it. And so this young man, who's much older than the typical student, he was in his mid-30s, he kept working and kept working. And when he felt like he wasn't going to make it, he came to get help. He went to the counseling center as well, which is where I would send him. And he graduated and he got a job working at Costco in their computer security, I believe he might be in. And he is now happily married and still working at Costco. And so he's another one. And I could go on with stories. The first graduate of Bellevue College's computer science program was also in our program and got a job at Microsoft. So again and again and again, these young people who really are focused on being successful, regardless of what you might think of as academic ability or emotional stability or any of those things, if they are motivated, will succeed. And so I will always say motivation is the most important factor. And that's why I will tell people, don't force your kids to go to school. If they want to do it, they will do it. We will help them do it.
Big thanks to Sara Sanders Gardner and the Neurodiversity Navigators Program at Bellevue College. Please subscribe to Inclusive Academia.